Hi. As many of you might know, I am a huge fan of heritage homes. They're also called century homes, and many of them were built in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and they're generally Victorian homes, also Edwardian homes. I wanted to share some insights with anyone considering buying a heritage home in Toronto because most people don't realize that there are limitations and restrictions on what you can do with these types of homes. So, what exactly are the logistics of owning a piece of Toronto history? First, let's clear up the biggest mistake. Listed as heritage is not the same as designated heritage. That's right. A listed property is just on the city's radar. It's on the listed list. If the property you're buying is listed and you want to tear it down, you must give the city 60 days notice. But other than this, you're going to have almost total freedom to tear that house down. You'll notice how I said almost. So there's a few caveats that you need to be aware of. Number one, you've got the nosy neighbor. So let's say you buy a house that's on the listed list. It's an old house. You decide you want to tear it down and build something new. So at any point, let's say there's a neighbor that catches wind of this and they don't like it, they can actually call the city and have that heritage designation fast-tracked. In fact, due to new provincial laws, the city is currently moving thousands of properties that are currently on the listed list to designated status in order to protect these homes, which makes sense because they want to protect them. They're gorgeous and they're old and they're a piece of history. So if you're considering a home which is in a heritage conservation district, this is number two. If it's in a heritage conservation district, such as Cabbagetown, you cannot demolish it under any circumstances, no matter how run down it is. There are actually city bylaws in place to protect the designated heritage, these homes and buildings, regardless of where these properties are located. But these laws are almost always limited to protecting the exterior only. So this is the brickwork, the facade, the windows, and the roofline. So this means you can usually gut the interior and turn an 1890s Victorian into a 21st century modern masterpiece on the inside, that is. Now, because the city actually wants to help you preserve the features of these homes, they actually extend grants. So, the Toronto Heritage Grant Program offers matching funds up to $10,000 for restoration and up to $20,000 if you're doing a full slate or cedar roof. It's essentially the city paying you to keep your curb appeal high. One bit of caution is regarding insurance. Be sure to call your insurance broker before you sign the deal or include an insurance condition into your offer. Because sometimes, in actuality, many times, standard insurance companies struggle with heritage homes because of what's called a replacement cost. For example, if something happens, the city might require you to rebuild with original material, let's say hand-carved stone. This is rare, it can be very expensive, so that's why you'll need a replacement cost rider from a specialty insurer in order to stay protected. Heritage homes are truly the blue chip stocks of Toronto real estate. They're rare, they're beautiful, they hold their value, and they have soul. If you're looking at an older home and have questions, please send me a direct message or give me a call. Let's make sure your coveted piece of history is not only gorgeous, but is also a smart investment. Thank you for watching and have a great day.